Well, I am so excited. We have a man in the arena, my friends, a man on the podcast. He is the founder of Men in the Arena, which is also the name of his podcast and ministry. This is author and speaker Jim Ramos, and he equips men to be leaders in the home, church, and community. His new book is Guardrails, 10 Boundaries for an Unbreakable Marriage. My friend Ron Deal has endorsed this book. Jim, it is so good to have you on the podcast.
Arlene, it's a joy to be on. I'm humbled and just excited to get to know you and your ministry. And Ron has become a great friend, and he's got a great thing going on. So if Ron recommends you, man, you're in. Do you know what I mean?
That's how it works, right? It's like, okay, we have these common friends. It's like, oh, this must be a good message. This is going to be great.
Yep.
Okay. When you're talking about marriage, you're not like, oh yeah, I've been married, 2 years, or I've been married to 3 different people. You have been married to your wife for almost 40 years. I want to hear just this pivotal moment of what caused this book, Guardrails, to come out of your time in your marriage.
So my wife and I, somehow it comes out. We've been married 34 years.
Okay.
So merit ministry, almost 40, marriage 34. And my wife is a beautiful, dynamic, adventurous, smart, low maintenance person. I would like to call myself a low maintenance man, although Shannon says sometimes I can be a lot. And we just come together. We're so similar in our personalities. We have been headbutting for years. We've got a very high maintenance marriage, and bringing we both bring a non-Christian sexual past into our marriage. We were both sexually pure before marriage, never had sex with each other, never lived together. But we realized that, hey, with boundaries, we needed boundaries in ministry. Because I interact as a youth pastor, I had kids in and out all the time. I had female staff all the time, being in church ministry. So we just knew that we needed to set some boundaries in place. And we did that early on in our marriage, just real obvious, real simple things. Because one of the things that we realized as we watched couples that we thought were better than us dissolve, we realized that they didn't need a professional counseling, that they didn't need a psychological help, they didn't need medications. They were just doing things that were stupid, that were causing them to be tough. It's an old John Wayne quote, if you're going to be stupid, you better be tough. And we just didn't want to have to be that, and we didn't want to have to navigate through the disaster of hurting the body of Christ because of our witness, of damaging children, of ruining our witness, of in my position, losing my career. And we decided early on, we need to have some boundaries in place. We called them guardrails to guide our marriage. And we've been doing that for the last 34 years.
Yeah. It makes so much sense. You have in the book, you quote the Forrest Gump, stupid is, stupid does.
Yes, exactly.
I kind of loved. And I love that. I know in our current cultural moment, people, they are using the word stupid. Yes, we are. We are using the word stupid. You quote this quote I love. Contrary to what pop psychology preaches, marriages are not destroyed by a parental wound, unresolved anger, a sinful past, or toxic past relationships. They are decimated by unwise decisions compounded over time, the rotten fruit of stupidity. So really what you guys did was you looked ahead and you thought, we don't want to make a stupid mistake, so let's put these guardrails, these boundaries in place. I want to go you alluded to it being a youth pastor, that you have to, talk to girls and you have to have female staff members. So other people who are listening, maybe they're doctors, they're counselors, they're teachers, their job involves being with someone of the opposite sex. How just talk us through that a little bit more. Like, how can we professionally have that line of separation?
Yeah, I actually interviewed a dear friend of mine who is a professional counselor, and I asked him the same question because, people push back, obviously. And he said, it's simple. I have guidelines that I offer to my clients before we ever start, professional guidelines that I abide by and I adhere to. And then when I do meet with women, I always have the door open, even though it's counseling, and I have the window blinds open, even though it's counseling. And I just say, if I do this for my own personal value system. And if you're not okay with this, then maybe I'm not your guy. And so that's what he does as a professional paid counselor. What I do and what I've done for for years, decades, is I will meet with a female one time. If a female, when I was a youth pastor, hey, I need to talk to you, a parent or something, I will meet with them one time, door open, windows open, and then that's it. Now I'm blessed because I'm a horrible counselor. So people don't want to see me more than once anyway, but
they're like, we're good.
They're like, we're good. But on my staff here, we have a team of 10 people and 7 of them are women. And and they all have the love language of words of affirmation. And so I have to be really careful. I have to meet with them as staff. They're all remote, but it doesn't matter. Affairs happen that way. So we keep it business only. When I talk to them about their job and their workplace environment. I do not coach them on life or their marriage. I'll tell you an example that just happened 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So we've got this great podcast right now, and we're beginning to change it into an in-studio podcast. So when guests come in, so if you were to come onto my show, this would be fun. This would be interesting for you as a woman. So if you come onto my show as a woman, we now give gifts to our guests. We have our homemade family seasoning. We've got beef jerky. We've got coffee, and we just had a local knife company gave us a knife for every single guest.
That's amazing.
It's so exciting. We even have a tree that a company's given us a tree to give to every guest. So when she called me this morning, emailed me and said, we got Kershaw knives. Okay. So now I called her and I affirmed what she did. That's so awesome. Rock and roll. Yeah, rock. Let's go. I didn't say, oh, you're the best person on my team. I appreciate you so much. You're so great. I always use the words we, us, and our in complimenting. And when I compliment a woman, I do it so that it would elicit an emotional response towards their performance and not towards me. Mm-hmm. So there are certain, and in a counseling situation, I do the same thing. When I speak with them, it's all about that situation, and I don't draw attention back to me. I don't want them to project ever back on me, because we don't know what people are bringing to the table, and the only person on the planet who deserves my emotional capacity is the one I've been married to for 34 years.
What would it sound like if it did bring it back to you? What would that sound like? So let's say they got this, you did such a great job at work. What might it sound like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if a woman were to give me a compliment, you are the best. You are so amazing at what you do. You've changed so many marriages. I just admire you so much. I would weave Shanna into the compliment. Man, my wife says the same thing. My wife, I just weave Shanna in whenever I can. And it's to receive. I call it receive. I receive your compliment and I weave Shanna in. I don't ever want to open a door. In fact, Shanna, my bride, is a flight attendant. And she had somebody make a comment to her about, oh, your eyes really look pretty in your flight attendant dress. So that's a pickup line. And my wife simply said, thank you. My husband says the same thing.
Right. And it's like, and that's over.
Yeah, it's over. It's a non-starter. So I think it's creating this non-starter. What we have found is these things start with a seemingly innocuous statement or a phrase or a comment or a gift. And they just continue, like I said in the quote that you so beautifully read, they compound over time.
Yeah.
They don't just stay there.
So this is it's almost like a hypervigilance. Like someone might say oh, Jim, please, can you not just say thank you? This seems hypervigilant. What would you say to that?
I would just say, first of all, I'm not a misogynist. I'm not a chauvinist. I'm not objectifying women. I would just say, I know what I'm capable of. And I'm afraid of that man. And I've had to protect myself against that man. And then I also know who I've made a covenant with, my bride. And I also know that I don't know who this woman is over here, but the Bible says that she calls out. And I want to be careful whenever a woman calls out to me that is not my wife. I need to be careful that is a biblical warning for me. And it's not diminishing against this woman. It's not saying this woman is evil or nefarious. It's just simply saying, listen, we just want to have a life of a series of non-starters so that the women I interact with, Arlene, the men that you interact with know that you are off the market. Maverick Top Gun, he is off the market, and they just know that you're off the market.
Yeah. One of your guardrails, it's number 9, is for gifts. Send it from us. Never give a gift or card to another woman that is only from you. And
Yes.
I read that in your book, and it literally helped me because I do have a gift for like a ministry person, but I did have like a feeling of awkwardness, like, because the person's a man.
Yeah.
But I thought like this, you see something, you're like, oh, this would be like perfect for you. And it was on clearance. So I was like, I'm going to pick this up. And it kind of goes with anyway, but it made me realize I need to make this gift from the Pelican family. And that really helped
Yes.
me because I was kind of thinking like, is this weird? Like maybe this is weird. And I thought, oh, but if I make it from our family, that is not weird. So talk a little bit about that, why the gift should be from not just you.
These are very simple things, Arlene, but they're profound. Okay, so the chapter 9, I just preached a sermon on this last week. So if you look at King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, her name was Makeda. We know that from extra biblical material. She journeyed, single woman, 25 to 35 years old. Solomon's in the prime of his reign. He's 35 to 40, 45 years old. She travels 1,600 miles. She takes a boat up the Red Sea with her people. She offloads at where the Jordan River flows in. She gets her caravan. She caravans up 600 miles to Jerusalem. She sits in his court for 6 months. She lavishes this beautiful gift of wood that he used to build the temple, and he also used to build his own palace. She gave him 4.5 tons of gold. Nobody had ever seen that. And then she says this in 1 Kings 10, she lavishes this huge compliment. Blessed are your men. Blessed are your servants. Blessed is your God. But she never mentions his wives. He's married to like 1,000 women. She never brings that up. And then in verse 13, it says something. It opens up a story loop. This is a key phrase. In every movie, there are story loops. That's why we watch movies and read books. It opens up a story loop. He says these 3 words. It says, and Solomon gave her all her desire. Now, 3 story loops opened up 3,000 years ago that are still open today. One of them is they had an affair. She had a baby. She went all the way back to Ethiopia. She brought her baby with him. His name was Menelik. Every Ethiopian king since that affair 3,000 years ago is in the line of Menelik, who's in the line of Solomon. That's number 1. Number 2 story loop. A lot of Jewish theologians believe that she had an affair, and that affair led to a child. And 400 years later, that child's direct descendant is Nebuchadnezzar, who in 512 BC destroyed the Jewish temple, the one that Solomon built. So you've got all of these, and there's another story loop, which I won't get into, but the bottom line is this. Yeah. When you send a gift just from you, you open up a story loop in that person's eyes, and you open up a story loop. Let's say you told your husband, hey, I bought this cool t-shirt for your best friend, Bill, and he really liked it. I found it on clearance. Now your husband you opened up a story loop. He's going, whoa, where's my t-shirt? Why'd you think of him when you were shopping at the Nordstrom rack? You know what I'm saying? And so you open up these story loops. And then what happens is if that person that you gave the gift to is in a broken relationship or in a broken place, now you've created a story loop in their mind. Oh, does Arlene, wow, does she like me? I mean, what was that about? Oh, well, she's cute. I mean, they have all these things going on. And it starts something that doesn't need to be started. So we just want to keep it right here with non-starters. Send it from us. Your buddy still gets the cool shirt. Your husband isn't affected by it because he's on the card. It's all good and everything's good.
Yeah. I love this idea of the non-starter. Yeah. Like, why deal with something 10 years into it when you could have killed it 10 years ago in 30 seconds? Like, that's kind of amazing. Let's say a woman is listening to this and they're like, gee, I wish my husband would have guardrails. My husband doesn't believe in these guardrails. You know what I mean? Like, how does a wife get a husband interested in, hey, honey, you might not want to meet with women alone, or, hey, honey, you're being a little too warm to that lady right there. Oh, you're just oversensitive.
Oh, man, there's so much to that statement. I wish I could answer it. I would say this. I believe that so when God made when God made the woman in Genesis 2:18 and Genesis 2:20, he says he could not find a helper suitable. So that word helper suitable, that's two words. There are the two Hebrew words, ezer kenegdo. They literally mean, and this is so beautiful. When I read this, I thought I'd never heard this before. It means the one who stands opposite of me. So Shanna is here. She's looking this way. I am here. I'm looking this way. She sees what I don't see. She has a passion for what I'm not passionate for. She knows what I don't know. She does what I don't do. She's made the way I'm not made. She thinks the way I don't think. She literally, it's like Charlie's Angels. She has my she has my back. Yeah, and so totally. So as a man, we have to realize that our wife, our bride, has our back. And here's the one thing that she sees that I don't see. My bride is the family thermometer. That's her superpower. My superpower is I'm the family thermostat. She can tell me the temperature in all of my relationships, including ours, and my job is to regulate those and fix those accordingly. She's the problem identifier. I am the problem solver. That's why women in marriage always say to her husbands, honey, I'm going to tell you something, but don't try to
fix it.
So what men need to realize is she has a superpower, and that superpower is identifying the temperature in relationships. And so when she comes to me as a man, my job, I would say to the wife, she can actually tell him this. Listen, you're the thermometer. I'm the thermometer. You're the thermostat. Yeah. And I'm telling you right now, we've got an issue. Please listen. What she could do is she could say, okay, honey, what I want to start doing, this is low hanging fruit right here. This is probably the best answer to the question. Honey, telling her husband, honey, I want you to rank our marriage from 1 to 10. And I'm going to rank it from 1 to 10. And let's tell each other why. She will always rank it lower because she's the thermometer. She sees what we don't see. And that opens up a dialogue to help the marriage. In 2008, Arlene, my wife kept saying to me, hey, I think our marriage needs help. I think our marriage needs help. I think our marriage needs help. And I'm kind of going, gosh, really? Okay, I'm just kind of blowing it off. She's like, I'm tired. She was working 3 jobs. I was working 2. So I went to a counselor friend in our church, a female counselor, which we thought that'd be better for her because all my pastor friends were men, and we took a survey. And I scored an 89 in marital satisfaction.
It's like everything's well. You are
everything. Hey, we're good. We're good. She scored a 32.
Oh no, I was going to give her a 60.
She scored a 32. So it was I share this in the book. I mean, I share my failures, and I decided, okay, we need help because even if our marriage is a 60, if she sees it as a 32, I need to work with her and raise the level. And that's what we did. And it just it changed our whole marriage. But men we need to listen to our wives. They have superpowers that we don't see as our ezer kenegdo.
Someone's listening and they're like, my marriage is a 32. Yes. What's just one thing that you did to help turn that around?
Do you really want to hear this story? I don't know if this made it in the book. It was in the original manuscript, but when we sat down with this female counselor, she said, okay, Shanna, what is one thing that Jim can do for 6 weeks to inspire you? Was that in the book? Do you remember?
Yeah, I don't remember.
She said, listen, I've got 3 sons in the house. They're all teenagers. I've got a husband. I'm working multiple jobs. I just need him to be vigilant about cleaning up around the house. So to me, that tells me, one, our marriage wasn't that bad. It was very situational. And so I had a great opportunity to fix it. So I said, okay, I'm in. So she said, okay, Jim, you're going to be Mr. Clean for 6 weeks. You're going to go for it. And then she looked at me and said, well, what can your wife do to inspire you? Now, Arlene, I scored an 89. Right. So I'm like, I've got a bonus round here. So you can only imagine what I said. So we'll just leave it there.
Totally. I said what every man would say.
They can read the book if they want to know how that played out. But it literally changed our marriage because I did something to inspire her forward. I would say a real easy thing to do, Arlene, for couples. And I don't know why this is so neglected. I just don't know why. And this comes out of Guardrail 3, stay emotionally connected, because when what you're saying is what happens when you're disconnected. The Bible says he gave man an ezer kenegdo, a helper suitable, but he also said, you will leave your father and mother, cleave to her, and be one flesh. Well, that word cleave is the Hebrew word debak. And basically it means to adhere to be abide with, and to pursue and chase after. It also means one other thing that I'm not going to share with you because it's what really impacted me, but I'm going to leave that out because it doesn't really play into this question. And so what my wife and I did for 25 years, we still do it. We have regular Debak nights, date nights.
I love
and we kind of laugh because a lot of times they turn into a debacle.
It's like it's something in your throat. Debak.
Yeah,
I love this.
Debak. It's that Hebrew word, debak, to connect, to join together, to cleave. And so we would do stuff like this. We would go to a Mexican food restaurant. We were poor, so poor, and we would get a Diet Coke and have chips and salsa, or we go to McDonald's and get a happy, a dollar buy
value
one get
meal.
one.
Yeah,
Yes,
totally.
or living in San Diego, walk on the beach and look for beach class. We just did things like that. Very inexpensive things, but we said once a week, we're going to carve 2 hours out of our busy life, stressed out life, kids, sports, all these things. We are just going to be committed to each other. And those 2 hours every Thursday night, in fact, let me tell you how monumental those were. We had a little girl in our youth group who babysat for us. She was in my youth group, and every Thursday she'd come over and babysit. And when we moved to Oregon, that girl moved with us to Oregon. She became my kids' older sister.
My
she
goodness.
connected so much with our family because she saw what was happening. She would call me and she's now an executive pastor of a church here up in Oregon. But what I'm saying is it was so consistent. And then she was able to watch our family live out in real time. And it just was a game changer. It was a sacred cow for us. So these debak or date nights are just so vital to a couple connecting emotionally.
Yeah. So someone listening, the first step might just be like, okay, rate our marriage 1 to 10. What could I do to inspire you? And when are we going to have our debak night? Like, that's it. Like, that's really, really good. I want to talk about digital stuff because you are prolific. You were there years ago. You were sowing the seeds in the digital world, so many years ago. You've got a huge presence on all these different platforms. But as you know, marital breaches, trouble, temptation, either things that you see that you shouldn't see, praise from other people that you're kind of counting on or trying to get your status there, whatever it is. Talk about like the pitfalls, like what we should be watching for when we are online.
Well, I'll just say this. I'm going to tell you a little secret. We have 150,000 followers on Instagram and 147 on TikTok. And I don't have either of those apps on my phone.
Oh, good for you.
Because they were a stumbling block for me. And then what I did with Facebook is I've gone through Facebook and I've purged ex-girlfriends, high school classmates. Basically, with my rule on Facebook is if I did not have you in my youth group, now these youth group women are in their 50 now, but if I did not have you in my youth group, in fact, I've got several women that work for me now. They were in my youth group kids.
Yeah.
So if you weren't in my youth group or you're not part of my family, I really don't have any need for you to be involved. So there's a purging that has to happen. Yeah. And then I just don't have digital communication with women. I just don't do it. I don't DM them. I don't text them. If I do, it's work related with the women I work with. And then here's the other thing that my wife and I have this understanding, and I know this, we get pushback on this. My wife has free access. I'm on two different, I have Covenant Eyes on my phone and I've got Canopy on my phone. And they're both, one's a filter, one's a accountability. And my wife is my accountability partner. And these things help protect us from ourselves. Because I'm one decision away from stupid. And so my wife has access to my devices whenever she wants, no questions asked. I have the same for her. And people say, don't you trust each other? And we're like, we don't trust the other guy.
We don't trust ourselves.
Yes. And we don't trust ourselves. And because of that, just knowing that my wife I'm accountable to her all these things and she has free access, it just really frees me up.
Yes. It's a non-starter.
It's a non-starter.
Like we've been talking about.
It's a non-starter.
You have this Bible verse. That's really good advice, by the way. My husband does the same thing of not putting the social media apps on his phone. And just that's great advice for all of us, teenagers, everybody. You're starting out, great. Look at it on your laptop where everybody can see it and where you're not carrying it around all day long. Such a good thing. You have Deuteronomy 22:8 in the book where it talks about a parapet. And I remember a long time, maybe a few years ago, I thought some business person should write a book called Parapet. And then write about this. So the verse is, when you build a new house, you shall make a parapet for your roof so that you will not bring blood guilt on your house if anyone falls from it. explain this so our listeners not like, what in the world are they talking about?
So a parapet is not an emotional support parakeet.
Yeah.
A parapet is not a little, a little, chia pet, toy, whatever.
Right.
A parapet is a guardrail. It's a small wall. And so back in the ancient tradition, in the ancient days, homes were flat roofs. Remember, we're living in an arid land, a desert. It's not like Oregon where it rains. We have 2 seasons in Oregon, rain and construction. Back then, back in that world, it was always, dry, arid. So they had flat roofs. And because they were single room units that families would live in, they would use the roof as an escape. They would go up to the roof and enjoy the stars, cool the night. Consider it like a patio. A man cave. You'd have your Traeger up there. You'd have your big screen TV. You'd have your, you have your cooler up there. And it's a place where and then you'd have a ladder that goes up the side of the house and onto the roof. It is a place where, and this is a critical part of it, it is a place where those who are close to you went to hang out with you. Your best buddy, your relatives, your kids. And so what this verse is saying, it's saying you build a parapet, you build a guardrail so that if someone falls off it, they won't consider you guilty, right? Well, when you look at that deeply, the people on the roof with you are people that you know. They're people that you're close to. And statistically, we know that abusers are not strangers. They're people that our kids know. Affairs happen statistically with somebody that our spouse already knows, their boss, your best friend, bro. I mean, there's somebody that we already know. So when we're building guardrails, we need to realize that the people that we're really the primary suspects, I hate to use that word, the primary characters that we need to be careful of are those who we already have invited into our circle. And that proves out in real time, right? I mean, think about the affairs It's with a church secretary. It's with a boss. It's with a girlfriend from high school. It's with your best friend's, your best friend's wife. It's this type of thing.
Yeah. I also saw it as you're building it, those guardrails to protect your family right from falling over. So when as you're talking about these 10 guardrails of things you're going to do in your marriage, like guardrail number 4, frame your bride well, never engage in negative talk about your bride. When you're building that, it's like you're putting parapets on that patio roof to make your house secure, which I think is just amazing. The last question I have is about guardrail number 10, build a wall. Inspect your wife's guardrails often. How does a husband do that?
So in my book, right over here, you see the book Guardrails. And then below it, you see Dialed In. In Dialed In, I wrote a chapter on the leader, and it's out of the pastoral epistles. In 1 Timothy 3 and Titus chapter 1, Paul lists 20 qualifications for a spiritual leader, which really should be the goal of every man. One of those qualifications is that he should manage his household well. Paul spent more time on the word manages than any other 19 combined. He spent 2 entire verses on managing. And so I looked up the Greek word there, and the Greek word is proistomai. Now, my last chapter is called Build a Wall. It has nothing to do with the border between Mexico and America. It has to do with this, that as a man, again, I wrote the book for men. Yeah. As a man, my job is to proistomai my family. This proistomai word it's a beautiful word. It means to preside, protect, and provide. So my job is to preside over my household, to protect my household, and then inside of each individual house is our rooms. My job is to provide within that house, provide for the hearts in there. So in the context of marriage, I am to be a covering for my wife. I build a wall over her. I am to be a wall around her. I am to protect her from all interlopers, whether that be, news stations, Netflix, social media, toxic relationships.
Yes.
And then inside, I need to protect her heart. And my job as a man is to create a safe place for her heart to dwell in my love. Now, here's the key thing for men. And here's the part that men will really resonate with. So my job as a man is I'm Nehemiah. My job is to inspect the walls regularly so that I can figure out where I have a breach, where I have a leak, where I have a paper wall, a paper mache wall, where I have a wall made of sticks, where I can fortify the wall. And part of how I do that, Arlene, is I ask my wife, how we doing 1 to 10? Are there any relationships? Right now I've got a relationship with one son that I need to repair. And so I'm working on repairing that relationship.
Yeah.
But it's my wife who's helped me see it.
Yeah. It's beautiful. My goodness. Okay. So for the men listening, man, you are fired up. You are ready to love your job and go get it. For the
Yes.
women listening, you're like, oh my goodness, I need to get my husband to listen to this podcast right now, or maybe my adult son to give this to him. This is something for young men to grow into. This has been amazing. You will hear all of the 10 guardrails in the book to be able to learn about them. Jim, how do people find out about your book and how do they find out about your ministry?
Yeah, I would also say we include a chapter just for singles in here because
Yes.
your guardrails start when you're single. That's really when they do.
Yeah.
I would say don't Google my name. My name's not worth anything. It's not out there. Google Men in the Arena. And if they want to get the book, honestly, the best place to get it, easiest is go to Amazon, jump on over there, and we'd love to help out any way we can. We just believe when a man gets it, everyone wins, and we want to help.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much, Jim. This has been eye-opening, inspiring, strengthening. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm humbled and honored.